Hey guys, what's up? So just carrying on with my explorations into the Calabrese, seeing as I got absolutely raped on Thursday night and suffered another very uncomfortable experience again today. What I've done is I've gone to pull up opening tree, right, and it's all very well kind of drilling and drilling and drilling. Lines in your opening, like I showed you with my Lichess study, but you really need to know which are the lines that are most problematic for you. So this is what I'm going to do. So I've come to opening tree, I've selected chess.com, I've put my username in, and I've selected black pieces, and from the start of this year. So we've got what is that, 3 months, exactly 3 months, and then I tell it to analyze and wait a minute, and it's done. Okay, so I'm going to look at this. So, in fact, let's go from the start. E4, E5. Okay, so you can see here, E5, 513 games. I'm doing all right. So I've won as black 257 out of those. So that's just over half. Literally just one over half, I think, or half over half. Okay, so with E5, I'm doing well. For some reason, I played a knight c6. I don't know what was going on there. Okay, now you can see the most common moves. Knight f3. Now, knight f3, we're doing well. Yeah, knight f3, we're going into, it's always knight c6. And I think if you hover over here, if you hover over one of them, it gives you a percentage as well. No, oh yeah, score 55% for black. There you go. Right, so knight c6, I'm doing well. Bishop c4, I'm still seeing a lot more Italians, and then the Spanish is starting to catch up. You'll see that at the advanced levels and expert levels, the Spanish or the Roy Lopez will overtake the Italian, but ain't the case right now. And d4, the Scotch, I'm struggling. Okay. So there's no point me going and studying the Italian and the Russo because I'm doing fairly well there, right? I mean, I could drill into it if I want. I'd always play f5, and look, the most common move they take, and I'm winning most of the time, 67.5% of the time. d3, I'm less happy. So d3 takes us into the Lucchini. d3, bishop c5, and it's 25-27. Okay, so and after they castle, I'm not doing so well. So this is so you can use this now. If you're sub 1,000, do I recommend that you look into this? Well, if you're going to enjoy it, knock yourself out basically. So let's just rewind. E4, E5, because I'm interested in this. So most common move is knight f3. The second most common move that I faced here, okay, is bishop c4, the bishop's opening, and the third is f4, the king's gambit. I'm actually doing all right against the king's gambit, which is interesting. 55% win rate so far. Okay, so you can use this. You can scroll down and say, well, what's hard for me? Well, knight c3. I've been struggling against the Vienna, so we can explore that, right? Against the Vienna, I'm hitting 40%, so I need a line against the Vienna. Okay, d4. Centre game, yeah, slightly worse than that. You know, I've only got 40% win rate there again. So this really helps you to focus your study if you wish to study, and work on your game that way. So, but what we're interested in now is this 24-24 from the bishop's opening. Knight c6 I've played twice for some weird reason and lost both times. So 24 wins against 22, losses 1 draw by the look of it. So just better than average with f5. Now, we're not going to explore e takes, and we're not going to explore d3. Either way, right, the thing is, if there's a line for this queen, then you damn well stick your knight on f6, right? But what I'm interested in, let's look at the bishop takes c8 line, and maybe let's look at the knight c3 line. So bishop takes c8. Now, I've always taken with a rook, and that is the correct move. So what I can do now is I can now switch between, in fact, I'm not going to do it in an incognito window. I will just do it. So I'm going to studies, black, Calabrese counter gambit versus bishop's opening. Open it in a new tab, and zip dip diddly bit, here we go. All right, bishop takes 3, bishop takes g8. This is the line that we need to study, okay? Because I've not done well against this. Now, queen g5 is a move here, apparently. Queen g5, well, no, it's not. Queen g5 has been played 5 times, and black's won 3 of those games. That's really interesting. Let's just check. If Stockfish says it sucks, it does. Yeah, Stockfish says if you don't take back, then you're a fool. Okay, so we know we take back. Okay, and now, okay, this is interesting. So now, after e takes is the most common move. What else do we get here? We also get queen h5, the immediate queen h5, right? So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to do this. I'm going to 3 bishop takes g8 and then queen h5 check line, right? And I'm not going to import it. I'm just going to go empty. Okay, and let's put it here. Let's play through the moves. This is always good practice. Da-da. So they're not doing that. They are taking here. Da-da. And then the queen comes out, right? Let's just jump back to opening tree. Okay, so I take with that. Queen h5 check. Seen it twice. Lost both times. That's interesting. E takes. Seen it 4 times. 50-50 split. So let's explore this. And the move here is definitely g6. Yeah, Stockfish says you've got to play g6. They can now take there, and I'm sure they always will. Yes, they always do. But here, black's winning 53%, and you push the rook. Right? Is that what the fish says? Fish says you've got to push the rook, dude. Okay? We hit the queen. The queen's got to bugger off in short order. Rook defends the g6 pawn. Bishop defends the rook. It's like a human chain here. Like people trying to get their keys out of a sewer. Okay, now, where's the queen going to go? The queen really has 2 main options. h3 or h8. And they're both quite common, and h3 is not fantastic. Well, let's think about it. You go here, h6, that's not good. h6, it says, is the best move, actually. And then we take the pawn. That's funny. Queen h8 is the second best. Queen h3, and we can bring out our knight and carry on developing. White's got no development here. So fascinating. So we are going to see most of the time queen h3. All right, and if queen h3, yeah, you just take the pawn in the center. We're going to push d5. We're going to get a nice chunky center. But of course, this will come with a discovered attack against the queen as well, so gaining another tempo right there. They should now play knight c3 or queen g3, but the most common move is queen e3, and that's over 2 pawns, so I'm going to call that a mistake. And the point is here, we just gobble the center, right? Occupy the center without a second thought. And look at this now. Look at what we control here. Bang, 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 defended, pawn defends, bishop covers all of those. This bishop, you know, it looks like our king is exposed, but the flip side of that is all of our pieces are controlling the board, and it's -3 for black here. And white is pretty much in just dire straits here. Okay, so let's just go back a couple of moves. Where else can the queen go from here? Well, queen h8 is the thought. And if queen h8, the public have played fe here, but that's not quite so good. Queen g5 is better. Queen g5 is winning 55% of the time. Computer says knight c6, and that's very good by test. Okay, so let's go. I'm going to go force variation here as well. Now it will, if you play it through, it will pick up the one. So if I want to, let me show you exactly what I would do here. Okay, and then you can, if you really want to get geeky about it, so I can split these up into their own chapters, right? So from here, I'm going to, let me copy that. I'm going to do a Queen H8 variation. Maybe you'd argue that this is really overkill. Okay, you switch on to PGN mode and then say import from the current chapter. Right, and now we have two versions of this. We've got a Queen H3 version, so I can delete that. And we know we're fine. And let's go Queen H8, right? So I'm going to promote that variation. I'm going to delete this one. Yep, confirm. Okay, so with Queen H8, what do we do? So this is me now setting up my stall as becoming a Calabrese counter gambit ninja, right? Because I'm done. I'm done with being violated in this opening. Ew. All right, so test says Queen G5 is good, but also Knight C6. And the computer says Knight C6. So let's go Knight C6, right? Allow them to capture here if they wish. They will play D3, which is... And look, most humans here play Knight D4, and that ain't good. You can see why Knight D4 is appealing. We're threatening C2 when threatening the fork. But what happens if that... I'm just going to have an experiment. Bishop H6. Wow. Okay, so that's very important. Okay, so we're going to get rid of Knight D4. Okay, and think. Look at our rook and king's bishop. Any issues, right? And then I can, for a tip, need to block white's queen bishop from skewing the rook. And so that should then naturally lead to the best move, according to Stockfish and by test, which is pawn to f4. Like you do in the Lucchini attack, we're just blocking off this bishop and saying, no, you don't. Okay, what are they going to do from here? Most of the time they'll play knight f3, which ain't fantastic. And now d6, and we complete the pawn chain. Yeah. And this is good now. Our bishop's going to come out, our queen's going to come out. You know, she's got lots of options, long castles, and where is white's development? Ain't nowhere. All right, so I think we're looking pretty good there, and that's all I need to do. So what I can do now, I can go on Queen H3. I can click on, hang on, let's come out of preview mode. Need to go back to the start. Okay, go on preview mode. And you guys can do this as well. You can use my study, and in fact, I think you can come along to my study and clone it as well, and make your own if you wish. Okay, so right, and I know that we always do this. I'm going to talk my way through it. Okay, I know G6. Yes, you can have that, and then I know Rook G7. Okay, you go back there. What would you play in this position? Is it just D6? Is it D5? And you see, so now I mean, you can go over the variations to your heart's content. We just capture, and oh yeah, and then we're building the center. There we go. Okay, but you've got to test until you don't fail, and that's how Chessable works, right? That's the really good thing about Chessable. But you can do this here for free. Okay, let's go back to there, and I have to click preview again because I am the owner, so I'm in like edit mode. But you don't have to do that. You just go next chapter, and unless you clone it. Okay, we capture. Queen comes out. G6 blocks. She's going to take there. I come here. She goes there. And now do we? No, we don't take. It's. So here's where the hints are good, right? Now, look at our rook and king's bishop and the issue. So we know this, and we build the pawn chain, and we're good, right? So that's a model. So I would recommend that. There's a couple of things. In fact, there's one other thing that I want to show you as well while you're here, if you're in kind of learning mode, because that's what I'm doing today. I'm not at my sharpest today, so I'm going to just sit back and polish the equipment. You know. Okay, so this isn't now. I've switched to a different study. Okay, and I'm going, this is now, so this study is called Attacking Drills Vienna. And here's the point. If you, for example, go on opening tree, in fact, let's do it. Let's do it from the start. So I'm going to look at my Vienna game from the start of the year as white, okay? So user Ben Hunt 72. I'm going to change it to white, and the start of the year, I'm going to go continue and now analyze games. And now what we do is we sit back. You can see here it's saying white games loaded, and then a few hundred. But I can actually start to, can I? Now I can go analyze games at any point. So that's 500 games. It's quite a lot of games. 600. All right, and I'll hit F like you do on F for flip the board on Lichess and on opening tree. It's X on chess.com. Okay, 839 games. Okay, great. We'll go view moves, and I'm interested in the Vienna. So I've played, and this thing I'm expecting to surprise myself here. Right, where are the chinks in my armor in the Vienna game? Now. Knight c6 is the most common move, and I've got a reasonable win rate here, but d6, oh dear, right? d6 is not good. So hang on, how often is d6? I've seen it 31 times, and I've won less than 40%. That's not good. Okay, so the Vienna d6 game, I've been playing bishop c4, but I couldn't tell you. I haven't got a clue. Okay, so I'm not gonna. Well, let's do it. Let's do it. I'm going to do a Vienna d6, okay? And that's it. We'll go empty because I clearly am underperforming there, and I haven't got a clue why. So we'll go Vienna game. They play d6, which can't be brilliant, right? d6 actually is winning for white 53% of the time at roughly my level and slightly higher. So I'm doing something wrong. Now, Stockfish says d4, knight f3, or knight g to e2, right? The public say bishop c4, which does win more than half the time, knight f3, and f4. So let's have a scroll. f4 does well, as does g3. Now g3's a kind of, if I was a Vienna playing Grandmaster, I'd probably be playing that. And you can also, if you want to scroll here, look at the Masters database, see what they do, right? And you can see the grey strip in the middle is because they draw a lot more than humans do. So G3 does really well actually at the master level. That's interesting for title players. But they play bishop c4 most of the time. Isn't that interesting? So humans play bishop c4 and draw a lot, but g3's kind of fun. So we could explore g3 if we wanted to, but I'm really interested in what's going to work best. Look how the draws disappear because we just don't play as tight. I'm going to explore f4. Okay, so let's explore f4. The computer disapproves, and I don't care. Okay, the most common move here, quite significantly, is EF, and that's not a bad thing. Computer now says, of course, you remember this, right? Anytime you see that ping ping bounce there, let's bring the knight out. Knight f3. Oh, computer says queen f3 is even better. Have humans played queen f3? Yes, they have, and they've done well. You see what we're doing? This is a forensic investigation. So I'm finding my weaknesses and I'm fixing them myself. Okay, they will most commonly play knight f6. All right, and this is fine. And then we can play d4. Or computer says queen takes f4 actually. And that's great. Okay, so in fact what I'm going to do, I'll show you what I'll do here. I'm going to add this. I'm not going to put it in my attacking repertoire for the Vienna. I'm going to put it in my regular things. I'll go to the share icon, copy PGN, okay, chess studies, white, Vienna. Let's make a new one for Vienna d6. Because I think the important thing is I don't really want studies that have got 30 chapters in and would take me 2 hours to go through. I want studies where I can go, open that, 5 minutes, I've drilled that. Okay, so I'm going to go Vienna. In fact, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to simply go learn study in a new window here, go new study, Vienna 2d6, right? So this is now a thing. Chat, everyone can chat, it's public, and that's it. Everyone, you can clone it, you can do whatever you want. All right, so do nothing here. PGN, I'm going to paste it in from the previous one, and here we go. Okay, so this is, okay, so we're going to play f4. We're pretty sure we're going to play f4. So this is an e takes f4 line. E takes f4. And I'm also going to change it to interactive lesson here as well. So you're getting a bit of a guide to exactly how I use Lichess studies here. Okay, so we're doing an e takes f4. And then knight f3 is great, but even better. And this is interesting because there are also lines in the Freddy Krueger repertoire when you've got the black pieces and you've pushed the f pawn and they accept, where it is better for the queen to come out, right? And I'm going to go, let's challenge the f5 pawn. Why not, right? And this is my own mental notes. I want the octopus to be teaching me how to talk to myself through this process. Right, and they will probably play then knight f6. Okay, so this is a knight f6 line. Knight f6, g5, maybe queen h4 check. Okay, and there we go. Right, so let's carry on with knight f6, and then we can simply take the pawn. Yeah, free stuff. Go for it. Free stuff. What are they going to do? I haven't got a clue. Bishop e7. Yeah, they want a castle. This is fine. And now we just grab the center. And white here is winning 52% of the time, but after d4, 73% of the time. And according to the machine, it's actually even, interestingly enough. But they're good. They're okay after knight c6. They're equal in knight c6, but most people, more than that, they're going to castle. And if they castle, computer says bishop d2, so we're getting ready to long castle ourselves. But we're kind of okay here. We're okay. There's no real traps or anything. So let's leave it at that and go e takes f4 ... Let's play it through again. We go Vienna, they go d6 and surprise me. Okay, let's just check actually. Let's just check. After this, I've played bishop c4. Right, but what we're saying is actually f4. And look, f4 and they've won 4 times. Very interesting. Okay, so we here are playing pawn to f4, I do believe. Let's just check this. Yeah, 3f4, there we go. Okay, and they're going to accept. So this is like a slightly delayed gambit, but the difference is the knight isn't out here, and you can't push e5. Okay, so after e takes f4, the move that we played is queen f3. Okay, not knight f3, but yeah, queen f3. And then what are the options? So we've looked at knight to f6, and the other one is g5. G5 is, maybe you could call this inaccurate. The computer says h4 and the public say h4, right? Challenge that loose pawn push immediately, right? And we play h4. Boom. What are they going to do? f6. f6 is the most common here. f6. And that looked like, Yeah, that's a mistake, if not a blunder. Let's call it a blunder. Sod it. Ouch. Never move the f-pawn. Lol. Okay, and now queen h5 check is just horrible because there's no way to block, and the king is going to have to move. The king goes to d7. We capture, or bishop e2, queen g4 check. Anyway, we're doing really well, and that's more than enough. Okay, white is +3.5. White is definitely better, if not winning. Okay, so this is e takes f4, g5. And if I was like a serious player, then this is how I think I would study. So I'm gonna crack on with this and explore it a little bit more. But we've had a little look at a line in the Calabrese. We've also done something similar on Vienna, but that's only academic to you. If you go along to openingtree.com, do it for yourself and build your own studies. You can do all of this. There's everything I'm using here is all free resources, so knock yourself out. Yeah, I wouldn't maybe spend too much time doing this if you're at the beginner and improving level. And the reason is because you can polish your opening theory all you like, but the fact of the matter is that games are still going to be decided more often than not on blunders. Right, so you're much better off actually working on your tactics, working on your timing, working on your thought process, your checklist, that kind of stuff, and cutting out the blunders rather than trying to improve that one area of your game that gets you into the middle game, and then all bets are off because somebody's going to blunder, and it's down to who blunders last, really. So that's it. But yeah, if you are an intermediate player, hang on. How good a move is that? I don't know. No one's played it. Don't matter. So yeah, if you are an intermediate player, hope this method's useful for you. So thanks for watching. See you later.